The interesting thing about this new segment, right? And guys, to give a bit of context, we sometimes do the other version of the segment, which is where I bring funny medical stories. They're not always funny, but there are things, real things that are happening to me, and I just share them with you. But Indy now is going to bring random ass medical conditions that I've never heard of, which means I have to revise for the podcast to learn about these conditions. So it's like I don't have enough already. So today, on the way,
it means that
the
you're
gym,
still excelling in the doctor space. If anything, I'm helping you, buddy. All right.
Yeah, that's it. You're trying to make me house, aren't you?
So this
Dr.
week's
House.
medical condition is called Sleeping Beauty Syndrome,
Dun, dun, dun.
and it's called Klein-Levin syndrome. Klein spelled with a K.
Yep.
So Sleeping Beauty syndrome, Florian. Tell me what's going on.
So, like I said, didn't know what this condition was. Most of the stuff that we're going to talk about here, I will never have heard of by the nature of it being very rare. So I was watching a few videos about this, and guys, this is really the way to learn, man. I was thinking about the way I learn things now, and it's really not by reading
Visual.
things. It's YouTube, man. Like YouTube explainer videos
man.
are the one, man. Like I'll use that for context and get like an overview, and then I might read in like detailed things. But the first thing they said was, it's really funny how they talked about. So the analogy is with Sleeping Beauty. This is obviously to do with sleeping. And even that story's like, they start with that story's really weird, man. You got this woman that goes to sleep, and then this bloke comes and kisses her, and Disney made a film about it because that's okay. Right, but that's okay, isn't it? Some dude just kissing a woman.
Kissing a woman who's asleep?
Molesting a woman, yeah.
Haven't you heard that they're trying to cancel that film now?
Which film?
Sleeping Beauty.
Are they? As in what, they're trying to make a new one, or? You mean, or?
No, they're trying to get people to stop showing it because of that. The fact
The
that
original?
the guy's kissing a girl. She didn't consent to that kiss.
Yeah. I mean, a couple of weekends, Shindy's birthday, the kids around, my niece is around, and so we normally end up watching like a Disney film. I think there's a film called Raya, Ray.
That dragon.
Right, yeah, that really good film, man. But what Disney are trying to do with ladies and women and characters now, it's not about princesses, man, anymore. Like these are
it's heavy on the
warriors,
power
man. Warriors, it's all about empowerment, like the shift in. Anyway, so Sleeping Beauty syndrome actually affects more men than women. So 70% of people that are affected are men. Super rare, like you're talking 1 in a couple of million. Okay.
Wow.
And for some reason it affects the Jewish population more. So there seems to be some sort of genetic predisposition.
Wow.
The cause is unknown. So research is ongoing, but they don't have a cause, which means they don't really have a treatment for this condition. Now, when I tell you the condition, it actually sounds really, like some people might think, oh, that's really nice actually. Okay, so basically you just sleep a lot. You have insomnia, the inability to sleep, and you have hypersomnia, basically sleeping too much. Like you're talking 22, 23 hours a day.
22 hours a day? That's insane.
Yeah, right? And so some people might think that, oh, that's really nice, I like sleeping,
No, because you lose a day.
Well, we'll come on to that. So we'll come on to the time loss and time lapse and that kind of thing. But basically, if you slept all the time, the problem would be you would die from starvation, and not drinking any water, dehydration. So the people that have this condition, the brief period of time that they're awake for, which can be 1 or 2 hours, basically all they wake up for is to wee, drink and eat, and then bang, they fall asleep again. So it tends to happen in waves. So like somebody could have a bout, like a cluster, right? They could have it for a couple of weeks and then be fine for like a year, and then it could come back again. So it comes in waves, and when they're fine, they're completely normal. You wouldn't know anything, but when they have it, like this one person I was reading about, she basically missed her final year exams. She's in America because she just slept through it, but she was undiagnosed. Like it's such a rare condition, so it's like what we call a diagnosis of exclusion. So people often get labeled as lazy.
Yeah.
Or they're looking for other like deficiencies. You must be anemic, you must be a thyroid problem, must be vitamin D deficiency, So diagnosis takes a long time. It's a diagnosis of exclusion when you diagnose, sort of excluded everything else. But yeah, they sleep a lot. They have hallucinations. When they do wake up, they're kind of like in a bit of a fog, and they're a bit disoriented with kind of time and space. One of the big things they read on like is obviously time doesn't stop for them, so they miss things in the world. Very hard to have relationships.
Wow.
They do get really horny though, but
What?
yeah, they're hyper aroused, which is a bit odd. I mean, they don't have much time to do
What? So
anything
for
anyway.
the 1 or 2 hours a day, it's just
Exactly.
It all out, that's it.
Yeah,
But how do you
well,
have energy for it though? If you've used all your energy
yeah.
sleeping.
Well, exactly. And the analogy that I was watching was they're kind of like people become like bears. This is like hibernation. Basically, you eat and drink so you can sleep. But yeah, man, weird.
What about what about caffeine or something to keep them awake? Doesn't that help?
Yeah, you can try it. I mean, people have tried all these stimulant things, and it will to a certain degree. But this overwhelming lethargy and tiredness and sleepiness just overcomes them, and they just can't function. So for the time that they have it, they're just pretty dead to the world. And that coupled with hallucinations, not being able to focus, and missing what's happening in the world, it's just a very odd condition, man. Chaos syndrome.
Could you get like disability allowance for it or anything?
Yeah, probably. I mean, that girl with the university, she got chucked out of uni basically, and then she got diagnosed, and then they let her back into uni with like mitigating circumstances.
Because she was doing medicine, right? So they obviously. Hang on, where'd I get the medicine shit from? No, she missed her final exams. You didn't tell me the.
I didn't.
The field
you
she was
presumed,
in. No.
Yeah.
I presume that. I don't know why I presume.
Because what you presume, isn't it?
Talking to a doctor, isn't it?
Talking to a doctor, man. Yeah, exactly. That's it. That's the condition. Very, very odd. I can't say I've ever seen anybody with that. Treatment. There's some experimental treatment. They're using lithium. Lithium is a mood stabilizer, which we use in things like bipolar, and apparently it's showing some promise. What they need to do, and what they're trying to do, is obviously isolate these cases, as in diagnose people who actually have it, and then study them. But you obviously need willing participants to study.
That's
they think it's to do with. Well, exactly, because it's hard to diagnose, and when you have them, they have to consent to being studied. There's a part of the brain called the hypothalamus. Hypothalamus is responsible for your involuntary bodily functions, such as sleep regulation, your hunger, thermoregulation, temperature, lots of things like that. They think it's to do with that because there are certain conditions where if you have a tumor which grows in the same area, then you get symptoms like this syndrome where you just sleep too much. But it's not exactly the same. So they think it still is multifactorial. Multiple parts of the brain are being stimulated at the same time. There's no scan or blood test that will diagnose it. It's what we call a clinical diagnosis. So based on the symptoms someone's telling you, that's how you make the diagnosis. You'll obviously exclude tumours. You'll have brain scans. You have blood tests. Exclude all the other things. And if you can't find anything, then maybe you're given this label or diagnosis. But in between, they're completely fine.
What's the people take something to help them sleep, not sleeping tablets, but there's a chemical you can take to help you sleep when you're on like a plane. Is it melanin? Is that right? Is that the word?
Melatonin, that's
it. What's the benefit of that? Just like a side note, because I know people that have been struggling to sleep and I think they will want to try it.
Yeah, I'm not going to advocate people to have melatonin unless they've seen their doctor.
Melatonin, but it's basically a chemical that helps you sleep, right?
Yeah, so melatonin is produced by your body, and it's the hormone that's released that tells you to go to sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the same way that we have hormones like leptin and ghrelin, which tell us we're hungry and that we're full. We have things that regulate all these things, and if you're lacking it, then you can give a little bit, but it shouldn't be used. Like people can become, addicted on sleep tablets, Zopiclone, things like this, melatonin. So another kind of sedatives. Much in the way like Michael Jackson, man, we talked about before. He was using propofol, things that we use to put somebody into a coma to have surgery to go to sleep.
Yeah, it's insane.
But coma is not the same as sleep, so the quality of sleep isn't going to be the same. Right, so that's something to think about.
It's like how they put you under when you go to sleep for a surgery. You don't wake up feeling fresh. You wake up feeling.
You don't because it's not sleep, is it? I think that's sleep and coma are two different things, man.
Yeah.
Yes, the state looks the same because you're like, but obviously it's not the same thing, man.
You're not refreshed at all. You wake up, you feel rough, man.
Have you had general anesthetic or?
Yeah, a few times when I had my ear operations in the past.
Bloody hell, a few times. Look at you, man. You're a medical marvel, aren't you?
Yeah.
If you were in Marvel, you're not a Spider-Man. You need to be some medical condition, man.
I don't know what it would be. It would just be the guy who's Mr. Glass.
Yes, that is you.
But not in that way.
Yes.
Not in that way.
Yes.
Not in that way. Right.
Dude, you'll get there, man.
Unbreakable.
You will get there, man.